All right, folks, good morning. Okay, let's get started. So, for today, January the 10th, 2024, we have the following information coming out. At 10 o'clock Eastern, we'll have final wholesale inventories month over month, which is a minor report. Will not have any expected significant impact on the markets. Then at 1:01 p.m., we will have the 10-year bond auction, which is expected to have a moderate market impact. And then at 3:15 p.m., we'll have FOMC member Williams speaking, which is expected to have um, a low impact, so it's not expected to move the markets at all. So that's all we have for today. So basically, only at 1:01 p.m. Eastern will we have any significant news reports, or at least reports that are expected to be significant. Having said that, let's take a look at the market. So the NASDAQ yesterday was quite interesting. At first, the market opened lower and then turned around, did a gap fill, basically traded from the gap lower to just above the closing price of the previous session. As of right now, the market is trading just slightly below yesterday's close after spending some time above it. So we do still see some bullish pressure, but it is pretty clear that it's struggling to some extent since we had a good day and then market sells off overnight, then returns back to where it was the previous day roughly. So haven't made any real headway here. We're basically at the same prices at the end of yesterday and at the pre-market today as we were after the big rally, which occurred here on the 8th. Okay. Now, having said that, let's take a look at which stocks were moving yesterday. So we have a few. As you can see, of course, the market was more recovering from a downward drop. So let's just see what we found. So for yesterday, we have Amazon. Amazon was able to reach target number one of 150.37, and then it got about just over 2/3 of the way to target number two. CrowdStrike was able to reach target number two, 273.29, and then it topped out higher than that, but basically after it hit that target number two, it just flattened out. NVIDIA was a little tricky. First, it went down almost to its target number one to the downside of 516.44, but it bottomed out at 516.90. Then it turned around, and after 11:30, so after I had already departed for the morning session, it did reach its target number one to the upside, and then made a nice run to target number two, 539.15. So that was not something that I'd already put out in the room because the stock had not turned around by the time I left. But after that, it did have a nice run. So if anyone caught that, that's great. If not, no problem either. Tesla was bearish, able to reach its target number one to the downside of 233.47 before flattening out. Roku was mostly bearish. It did not reach its target number one to the downside, but it did have a pretty good move that got about 3/4 of the way down, bottoming out at 90.36. Then that was it. So not a huge number of stocks clearly that showed up that were worth looking at. Now, as far as the pre-market goes today, here's what we have so far. We have CMND, which is currently up about 64% on 14.8 million shares, trading at least $1 per share. So we will definitely add that to our pre-market radar. Symbol again is CMND. Remember, this pre-market watch list is for stocks opportunities. We'll deal with the options opportunities during the regular session. So in the pre-market, we're only focusing on trading opportunities in the pre-market that might work for stocks. So there we go. Next up, we have ECDA, which is presently down 9.32%, 1.3 million shares traded. It's just above $1 per share, so it just barely qualifies. So we'll add ECDA to our pre-market watch list for stocks. Next up, we have GRFS. Now, GRFS currently is only up 1.15%, so it does not qualify. Earlier in the session, it was down. So this one, since it's not really close to the mark, we'll just skip it altogether. So let's go to the next stock, which is ICCT. ICCT is currently up 13.08% on 4.3 million shares, trading at least $1 per share. So we will add ICCT, excuse me, to our pre-market radar. Next up, excuse me again, we have LAES, which is currently up 25.62% on 4.37 million shares, and it's trading at least $1 per share in the pre-market. So we'll go ahead and add that to the pre-market radar. Next up is Mara, which was a little active in the overnight session, but currently it's only down 3.73%, so not enough. Mara is already on our regular watch list, so if anything comes up during the session, we'll see it. So let's take a look at the last result that I see on my scan, which is NVNI, which is currently up 50.14% on 7.5 million shares in the pre-market. It's above $1 per share, so we will add NVNI to the pre-market radar. Now, folks, if you see any other stocks that meet our criteria for our pre-market watch list, we're looking for only NASDAQ listed stocks, of course, and we need the stock to have traded at least 1 million shares of volume in the current pre-market session. The stock must also currently be at least $1 per share in the pre-market, and it must have achieved at least a 6% price change, positive or negative. All right, Trent, you mentioned XERS. Let's take a look at that. All right, XERS currently up 16.6%, 1.2 million shares roughly, and it's at least $1 per share, so that definitely qualifies. So we'll add XERS. And AMRN, that's currently up 16.39%, just over 1 million shares traded, and $1.14 a share, so that definitely qualifies. So we'll add AMRN to the pre-market watch list as well. All right, folks, so we've got CMND, ECDA, ICCT, LAES, NVNI, XERS, and AMRN. If you guys see anything else that meets our criteria other than the stocks we've already mentioned, just let me know in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and take a look. So far, we've got those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stocks. Okay, so I guess that'll be it. So we'll go ahead and wrap up for today's Premarket Pulse. Please be sure to like this video. I see we have 10 likes, but more than 10 people are watching. So please make sure you hit the actual like button, which will help us greatly for the YouTube algorithm. Also, MSTR, nope, let me take a look at that. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. MSTR is not qualified, so it doesn't have enough volume, doesn't have the percent change, so that doesn't qualify. CHWY, let's see. That is not a NASDAQ stock. All right, folks, so we'll go ahead and wrap up for today's Premarket Pulse. Please be sure, again, to subscribe to the channel and be sure to hit the like button. So we have 16 likes and we have more than 16 people watching. And if anyone's watching this on a replay, please be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. You'll see a link in the description to this video. Other than that, I'll see everyone in the coaching room in about 25 minutes, and we'll start from there. All right. Have a good one, folks. Take care.